The Hanukkah Moose by Chuck Mott, illustrated by Troy Mott. 'Twas the night before Hanukkah, and all through the woods all the reindeer were training as hard as they could. A young moose was watching with wonder and surprise. He had no idea that reindeer could fly. He slowly approached one of the reindeer he knew and asked about the flying. Was this something new? The reindeer replied, "It happens mostly in young children's minds when they dream of a holiday and the presents they'll find." "I've never heard of this holiday before. Does it have something to do with that wreath on your door?" "The wreath is just the beginning. Come in, there is more. You should see what's inside," as he opened the door. There were tree boughs and holly and food on the table and a tiny display in the shape of a stable. In the center of the room was a marvelous sight, a pine tree atop a pedestal and twinkling with lights. The young moose couldn't believe everything that he saw. Could this explain all the people he saw at the mall? He saw people hustling and bustling and waiting in lines, then hoping to get everything mailed in time. The parking lot was even worse, with honking and screaming. "I don't understand. Just what is the meaning?" They load up on cookies and candy all sweet like honey, and then stand in long lines to spend oodles of money. The moose was perplexed, for this didn't make sense. He even saw somebody try to gift wrap a wrench. He found all this behavior rather confusing, but he had to admit it was quite amusing. The reindeer then said, "If you think this is funny, you should see what happens in the spring with a bunny." By now the moose had seen quite enough. He was quite overwhelmed with the presents and stuff. He was overcome with amazement and needed advice, so he walked to the temple in the snow and the ice. He asked the rabbi about this strange holiday. Holiday schmoliday, that's what I say. But do come in, for I'm glad you are here. You see, I can't find the menorah that we've been using for years." "What's a menorah?" went through his moose mind. "It sounds like something very important to find." "The menorah holds candles," the rabbi explained, "and when it's all lit, it holds 9 little flames. It's important we find it, important indeed, for the festival of lights, the feast of Maccabees." "I don't understand," the young moose did exclaim. "Why do we need something with 9 little flames?" "The one in the middle is the servant and lights all the rest. It has 4 on the right side and 4 on the left. The others are lit, a new one each night, till the whole menorah is lit with 9 little lights." "But why do we do it? What is the reason? Has it got something to do with the snow in the season?" "The reason, young moose, if you really must know, is to remember a miracle that happened a long time ago. You see, Jerusalem had been captured and the temple was seized, which really ticked off old Judah Maccabee. He led a small army to reclaim what was theirs, so they could pass on God's blessing to their future heirs. The Syrians had used the temple to worship the god Zeus. This was quite an insult to the God of the Jews. They wished to be loyal to their God and the Torah. They didn't want to end up like the folks of Gomorrah. But when they entered the temple to see what was left, they found it in ruins. It was really a mess. As they looked through the rubble, the ashes and soil, they found only one small vial of oil. The vial was a blessing, and they all thought it was great, but the oil was enough for only 1 day, not 8. For it would take 8 days for them to make more. They couldn't just buy it at the local deli or store. So they lit the lamp with what oil they had, and the people rejoiced and were exceedingly glad. The lamp stayed lit and didn't go out. It burned for 8 days, just in case you're in doubt. And that, young moose, brings us to the problem at hand. We can't celebrate Hanukkah without a lampstand. The moose really wished there was something he could do. He wanted to help celebrate, but he hadn't a clue. "Perhaps I could hold up the candles instead. I have big flat antlers on each side of my head. I could be the servant and light all the rest. We could put 4 candles on the right side and the rest on the left. I know it's not much. I'm just a young whelp. I can't replace the menorah, but I would like to help." "What a splendid idea!" said the rabbi as he jumped from the table. "Mama, start the latkes. I'll get the dreidel." "You really are such a clever young lad. To forget God's miracle would be really quite sad." So the young moose learned about his own holiday, and he got to light the candles for all 8 days. He learned to eat latkes and spin the dreidel, and swap chocolate candies across the table. The rabbi gave him a gift of a blue and white yarmulke, and he learned what it's like to celebrate Hanukkah. So may peace and prosperity follow you home, or perhaps what I should say, what I mean is, Shalom.